and we're going to talk more about how to break barriers so that we can actually accomplish and achieve our goals. How many people in here like want to get some things done for the rest of this year? You know, we kind of celebrate because it's like this is a little bit past the midway mark of the year. So we always kind of stop and take a look and say, okay, what have we done so far this year? What do we want to get done by the end of this year? It's a big part of just moving forward. So we're going to talk about breaking barriers to achieve your goals. When we're trying to meet a goal, when we're trying to accomplish something, and obstacles are in our way, when we find that we have barriers, it really starts in the head. It starts in our minds, how we choose to think about things. So I kind of like this little picture here. An optimist will say it's half full. A pessimist will say it's half empty. A scientist will break it down. It's kind of like you task types too. And a nihilist will say, who cares? And it doesn't even matter anyway. But it's just, we all have different ways of looking at it. So as we are looking at how to break barriers and how to accomplish goals, the first thing we've got to do is really pay attention to our mindset and how we're thinking about the whole situation. And second of all, we have to be open to learning about ourselves, because I really believe that anything we go through can be used as a tool, as a learning tool. So if you've got some goals that you're trying to set this year, and you know things are happening, it's frustrating, you know, look at it as an opportunity to grow and stretch. So like I said, it's all about how we choose to look at the situations. And also it's also an opportunity to learn about other people. Because I really do believe that no experience at all is wasted. If we can just adjust the way that we look at it and think about it, we can pull value out of anything. I can honestly say that going through cancer 3 times has changed me to be a much better person. I have more patience than I used to. My priorities are straight. I feel like I'm stronger than I used to. I mean, so many good things have come out of it. So anything you're going through, I want to tell you, it can make you a better person. But it's got to start with how we're looking at it, how we're thinking about it. So I have 5 keys, and these are in the back too, of where's my notes? Why can't I keep up with my notes? Oh, well. So the first key, like I said, we're going to talk about 5 of them, is to, oh, there they are. Hi there, notes. How are you? Oh, and also, you also have in your notes, I'm skipping back a little bit, with the people map types, we have some summaries of how to better relate and communicate. We really didn't have a lot of time to go through that, but these might be some good tips for you to use as you're dealing with different types of people. So the first key to breaking barriers and reaching your goals is to gain a clear picture of your goal. And I think you've got a blank there to put something in. Time Magazine did a survey several years ago, and I think probably a lot of you may already know the statistic, but they said that only 3% of people ever write down their goals. 3% actually write it down. So, and out of those people who write down their goals, they are 10 times more likely to succeed than people who don't write down their goals. So this kind of is what this is all about. And even to back up farther than that, most people don't even, if you ask them, what are your goals? Most people can't even answer the question. Because we don't, we know we want to get somewhere, but we don't really know exactly, how to get there. And I think it was Dennis Waitley, he's a motivational speaker and a best-selling author. What he said is that the reason most people don't accomplish their goals is because they either don't even know what they are, or deep down inside they don't believe they can really accomplish it. Yeah, that's part of it. It's like it just feels like it's something you can't do anyway. So that's why they don't accomplish it. But if you look at winners are people who know where they're going, they know how they're going to get there, and they know who they're taking with them. That's what he says. So it's really, really important but it's not an easy thing to sit down and determine your goals. So I'm going to just kind of give you some tips on how to do that. And also, this really comes more naturally for leader types. Do you guys who are leader types, do you find it to be a hard thing or an easier thing?
Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's really not so.
Mentally, you can do it mentally. So your goals change and adjust, just go on day to day.
That's right, because leader types are all about accomplishing, so they know what they want to accomplish. It's really, I'm just kind of, my opinion is it's probably harder for free spirits to nail down goals than anybody else, because we're just we change a lot. we change a lot. It's like one day I want to do this, no, next day I want to do this, and so it's kind of hard to nail it down for us. So, but for leader types, it is definitely easy. It comes more naturally for them. So the first thing we have to do is decide what we want. Anybody got any goals for the rest of this year? Sales goals? Weight goals? Why so many people don't reach their goals and they don't get there because it's like the minute we hit a bump, we stop, or we have, and there are so many valid reasons why we can't do something. Yeah. But it's distractions and hindrances, but that is what it takes. So thank you. That's encouraging. Envision your outcome. That's exactly what he did. He saw himself being an Olympian. And so you have to see yourself in that with that outcome, and you have to be able to feel what it feels like. So if and I'll just go on to the next one and show you kind of how this breaks down. This is when I do coaching, life coaching with people, I always have them. One of the first things is they start with a goal journal, and what this is about is I challenge them to write down, kind of like, how many of you journal or have journaled? I used to. I've done it in the past. But if you just kind of write a journal, but to write it 3 years out or 5 years out. And so what I challenge them to do is pick 5 different times of the week, say a Monday morning, a Wednesday afternoon, and a Thursday morning, any time of the day they want, and write it down in your journal like it's happening. So you say, so if someone has a goal to grow their business by 60%, you're going to write that goal down and say, I'm looking at my sales for this month, and it is definitely 60% from where it was 30 years ago. You write, but not only what is happening, but you write down the details. This is what my day looks like. This is what my office looks like. This is what my family is doing. So you pick these different times in the day, like an afternoon and an evening. My family, because we're not restricted financially now, we're going to take the kids out for a great evening, and we're going to do this. And you just describe all what you see, feel, smell. Use all your senses to describe this journal. And then you read that over and over and over again, and you get it down inside of your head. And I'm sure that's what he did. He could feel it like it was real. And that's a very, very important part. How does your life look? How does your life feel? How does your life sound? So we're talking involve all your senses, colors and flowers and smells, and how is your life different? So I want to challenge you to do that. I think at the end I put in a sheet that has some coaching exercises that you can use that to kind of work off of, and I believe that's one of the exercises I have. So I challenge you to go home and work on that and actually do that. And I'm going to tell you how effective it is. How effective it is. I did this probably 8 years ago. Yeah. When I was still in my engineering job, here I am, Miss People Free Spirit, an engineer. I knew I needed to do something else. I knew I wanted to coach, and I knew I wanted to be a trainer. And if you look at things and you think, how is that possibly going to happen? And I knew the first thing I needed to do was get my training, my coach training. But there was going to come a day when I had to just step out of that job and step out in faith and start doing something else. So I did this goal thing. It's actually it's called goal mapping. I can't remember the author's name, but it's a book called Goal Mapping. Very good book. But it's actually a way where you can draw your goals out. So if you like to draw instead of write, you can draw a picture. So I drew a picture of my goal, and this is what it looks like, and these are the people that I needed to help me, and I put today's date on it, the date that was back then, and you have to put in there, when is the date that this is going to occur? And I put on there March 31st, 2007. March 31st, 2007. I just pulled the day up. And so I had this thing, and I looked at it every day, and I thought about it, and I meditated on it, and I started to feel what it was going to feel like to get out of the job and start really going forward in this thing. And I was really good at looking at it for probably a few months, and then I put it aside, because we never keep anything up. And it was really interesting, because about a year ago, I found it again. And what really amazed me, the way I got out of my engineering job was I knew when it was time. I mean, I just had a sense that the time was coming, and they came up with a voluntary layoff. They said, who wants to get laid off? I do. And so they wrote up the contract. Now get this. They wrote up the contract, and they said, this will be your last day. Guess what the date was?
March
March 31st, 2007. It is amazing how when we focus in and we can let ourselves feel it, it's like it just will, the world will bring it to us. It's an amazing thing. So I challenge you to do that.